Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here in Las Vegas, being joined with Kathy Duva of Main Events, where her fighter Sergey Kovalev is facing Andre Ward in a rematch this weekend on HBO pay-per-view here at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada. Kathy, it's been a very heated promotion. Finally getting up to a few days up to the fight. Sergey said what he had to say and then he left. It didn't go well with Andre Ward's team, but what did you make of what happened?
You know, I think Sergey just wanted to make sure the fight wasn't going to start today. I think Rock Nation's people set the tone with snide comments in their opening remarks, and I think he is just tired of this. He's tired of all this stuff. You know, I call them the gossip girls. I mean, they are. I'm sorry. Every time I turn around, who called who? Who called John David Jackson? Did John call them? Did they call John? Who cares? John's sitting next to Sergey. Frankly, they're better with each other right now than they've been in a long time. I think it's just, you know, sometimes in a relationship, there's ups and downs. Sometimes something happens and you finally air your grievances and suddenly kiss and make up and all's well. I think that's what happened here. It's also, you know, it's like when somebody, you may fight with your sibling, but if somebody from the outside decides to attack, now you're together. I think that's part of what's happening here. I think they've actually done us a favor. Sergey is way better when he's mad, way better, and much more effective. And I think they've brought the team closer together. It's all good. We're ready for the fight.
What has he told you in regards to all that, Sergey? And I know you were privy to that information when it first came out. The whole situation, really, his reaction to it, and now how he is. Look,
he understands that somebody offered John a job. John considered it, as anyone would if they got offered a job. And after considering apparently a very substantial offer, he decided not to take it. There was definitely tension between Sergey and John before that offer was made. And in the end, the decision was made to come back home. Everything's fine. And I respect the fact that John did that. He hasn't tried to hide what happened or what he said or did. He was made a very generous offer. He gave it some thought, and he walked away. And he told me about this long before this came out. We all knew about it. That makes a lot more sense than their version, in which John approaches them, risking his job, has conversations with them, gets offered money, and then doesn't take it, and then goes back to Sergey. That doesn't make any sense. So I think Sergey feels the same way. John's not stupid. What happened, happened, and it really doesn't matter. This is his job. They go to the gym together, and they work together. If people knew how much Pernell Whitaker and George Benton, I mean, oh my God, Pernell Whitaker, there were times when we had to convince him to keep George in his corner. That was one of the most successful training teams, okay, that in history of the sport, arguably. But it wasn't a bed of roses. It wasn't all you know. It wasn't. Don Turner says, if you love your trainer all the time, if you love me and I'm your trainer, then I'm doing something wrong, because I'm supposed to be pointing out your mistakes. And a guy like that, who's the greatest fighter in the world, who's one of the best in the world, they don't want to hear that they're making mistakes. You know, it takes an enormous ego to take your shirt off and get up in front of millions of people.
Not for me, Kathy. Not for me at all. You know, this solid iron body right here. You know, so you guys alluded to it. The announcement that was made the other day, the Mayweather McGregor, you labeled it, I think, like a circus or something like that. It's taken a lot of attention away from the fight. Attention where you brought up a good point. It's number one against number two. It's something where people should be paying attention because it's the best versus the best. What do you make of the events that happen and really how it correlates with the event this week?
Well, look, these are things I can't control. Sadly, I've had reporters again walk up to me today and say, well, why do you think it is that that's going to get in the way? Well, what was on your front page yesterday? And they all go, oh, well, I couldn't help it. My editor made me do it. Okay, I get it. I ask you for the next 2 days, please tell your fans. They should be paying attention to this. I don't know, you know, it's hard to compete with something that is not boxing, and it's not. It is a pop cultural event. The whole world is going to pay attention to it. I know that. And their need to announce this right now to try to screw up things for HBO's event is kind of sad, but that's their choice. They've hurt a nice person. I won't say nice person because you may not agree with that. They have hurt someone who honestly goes out and works hard to earn his living. by what they did, because it won't affect Andre Ward's purse. It'll affect the people that are paying him, but it's going to affect Sergey and me, and that's too bad, because I don't feel that those people really needed to do that, but they did. So you know what? They'll have their event and they will have all the attention in the world because everybody likes the circus. But I hope that we can at least get the message out to our fans in the next few days that these two gentlemen are going to earn their money on Saturday night, and they should be anxious to see this, because we don't get to see this all the time. And when you say, well, we want to see the best fight the best, well, the best is never going to fight the best if this is what's going to happen. Suddenly everybody turns their attention away from them and decides that they don't want to pay attention because they're distracted by some shiny object.
You know, overall, this fight that's happening in August, because you got the Canelo-Golovkin fight too with another number one, number two, is it doing more harm than good, you feel, overall for the industry that is boxing, or is it a thing where there could be some upsides of bringing new fans, more attention on boxing? How do you see it, given your time in this sport?
Well, see, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So it already hurt, and you've just illustrated my point. But my fear is that we get another Pacquiao-Mayweather event. And
it's going to be a one-sided fight. Everybody knows that.
And see, we're going to bring the casual fans in again. They're going to come crawling back. They're going to put their toe back in the water after they swore after Pacquiao Mayweather that they would never let themselves be ripped off like that again. And they're going to get ripped off again. And then they're going to blame us.
You're going to blame boxing.
If you watch Saturday, you won't be mad. You'll be really happy. But that's, again, we can only... We got the two best fighters in the world to agree to fight each other. It wasn't easy. And I think when we get to round 13, after they have had 12 rounds to study each other, and 7 months to think about it, and 7 months to stew, and Sergey, how do I get my belts back? And Ward, how do I get respect that I still can't seem to get, no matter how hard I try? All of this is going to come out in the ring on Saturday night. This is what we all should hope for in boxing. This is how great fights happen. So let's stop talking about that.
I agree, Kathy. I agree. It's a fight in which, like you mentioned, number one, number two, we rarely, sadly, see it in boxing.
Time. When Whitaker fought Chavez is the only other time. And by the way, Main Events was co-promoter of that.
Yeah, and something kind of fishy happened in that one too.
And this is what happens at this level when you have two guys who are that good. And that's part of the sport. We love it and we hate it. But
we also live in weird times, though, too. Very strange times right now happening here in the world. Kathy, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Marcos Villegas here in Las Vegas. This weekend, Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, number one versus number two, happening at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada, on pay-per-view.